Flexing Cat gifted 5 subscriptions to the community.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Hello, 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 hello. I will fix that, Vex. I will fix that. Interesting. Interesting. Am I coming through at all? Huh. Well, that means that something here is not working right. What is going on with you, Streamerbot? What is... Oh, that's what's going on with Streamerbot. Okay, okay. That's an interesting problem. That's an interesting problem. First of all, you can hear me. I am moving. But what is going on with Streamerbot? Lovely, lovely, lovely. As always, we are getting scuff. We are always getting scuff. Partially connected is going on here. And let's try logging that in, and then pause. Sub resume. There we go. There we go. I'm fine with losing a few minutes. And Vex added 6 gift subs. Added 6 gift subs, so I will add that to the sub. I'll have to do that. I'll do it manually later. Yeah, they didn't add to the counter, so we should be at 182. This is not how I want to start off stream. I wanted to start off stream by thanking you all so much for getting me up to 175, for getting me over the limit, for getting me to allow me to use the new model. Let's try 182 there. Okay. And then, oh, there we go. So that's working now. But I still need to add it to the clock. And that's a pain in the neck, so I'm not going to do that until later. But yes, we're up to 175, which means I got to do the new model reveal. And whoop. May as well pull him in. He's so big. He is so big. And he's so on the wrong side of the screen. There we go. Yes. So I just wanted to make sure that I once again thank you all for all these gift stubs, for all this generosity, for all this beautiful work. It's make me sock Almantas. Yes, by Lady Saffron. Lady Saffron made me a sock model. I just wanted to thank everybody for their support and for making it a little bit more possible for me to do this as much as I want. For me to make more of a go at it. And to keep doing it, right? It's very humbling. It's very beautiful, and I am a sock puppet. And I love it. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Let me get in the hellos. Hello Seribot. Hello me. Hello Zamiel. Hello Cat Magician. Hello Matthew. Hello Vexing Cat, of course. And thank you very much, Vex, for the 5 gift subs followed by the 1 gift sub. Hello, good afternoon, Wande. I know it is the morning for you. Hello, Obsessed Dreamer. Hello, Blue. Hello, hello, hello. Hello to everyone here. Hello to everyone here. I think I'm gonna go back to regular Al. And there we go. There we go. And let's hop on over to the live screen. Let's hop on over to the live screen so we can. So, doing another model painting stream. I just genuinely feel like it. I was thinking about all the things I could do with my time. That's not a bad one. That's not a bad one. One of the subathon rewards is that chat gets to choose new emotes. Gets to choose some new emotes, and that's not a bad choice. That's not a bad choice. That is not a bad one. Let me play around with the hand cam a little bit because this thing never likes to conserve my settings. That one I'm going to. I know that I made chat chooses a new redeem as a reward. That's not going to be a choice. I'm going to do that one. I just need to make it. I just need to program it. That's not very hard. I could just add I could just add that as a non-automated one for now. I really should have had this. I should have done this already. But let's go over here. And I'm going to add socks. What's a good date? What's a good date? What's a good value for this? What's a good amount of points for this one? That's not what I'm looking for. No. Nope, no, that's useful to me. I'm looking for dates around 1000-ish. So, let's, what is, yeah, Scam Likely, my good old friend Scam Likely. Good old friend Scam Likely. No, that's not a good one. Yeah, let's put it Hastings. Let's go with Hastings. I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't used Hastings already. Yeah, it's good old totally not a scam, right? Okay, there. There should now be a model swap redeem. I'll have to do it manually today. It's fairly easy to automate, but I'll just have to do it. I'll just have to take the time to do it at some point. And I'm not going to do it right now. that's the TLDR there. So I am getting close to the end of this set of models I have. This is the second to last model in my sets. The second to last one I have. And yeah, let's get it started. Let's get it started. Mm. And also, you know, if you do the model redeem, it takes me a minute. Please don't worry about it. Again, it won't be automated, so I'll have to be manually checking the activity feed for it. But yes. Oh, okay. 4x white. Get some of that really. I just have Eldar minis right now. I would like to have some Saga minis. I don't have any right now. I do like Saga a lot. On my throne, I do have some other game. I've got Conquest minis, Saga minis, and 40k minis up there on the throne. And yeah. Yes, and hello, Punderful Owl. Hello, Punderful Owl. How are you doing today? May as well talk a little about how I'm doing today, which is I am very sore. I am very, very sore because I feel like I didn't clear up this flash properly. There's a nub here that shouldn't be here. I am feeling very, very sore because I got vaccinated last night. Okay, still working, experiencing the 3 p.m. crash. I am sorry, my friend. That is not the best time to be having a crash. But I do understand that is a common time to be having a crash, because, oh man, I always tried to, deal with that. And my last office job, was an 8 to 4 shift. And I always tried, not always successfully, but I did try to have lunch at like 2 p.m. I tried to basically have lunch as late as possible for it to not like be a violation, a shift violation. A 7 to 3 shift. So you just got over, unless you're on a different part of these United States than I am. But for East Coast, it's 3 p.m. right now. Yeah, I liked, because I'm not actually a morning person, right? I'm not a morning person. So from my perspective, the earlier I got out of work, the earlier I went to work, the better. Because I was going to be groggy and out of it for hours anyway. If I'm going to be all groggy and weird and unable to like be functional at all, I may as well be on the clock, right? Yeah. Yeah. This white paint doesn't really like go on particularly even layers. Feels like it's being pretty chunky. Yeah, I did forget. I always kind of forget who's who. Some people I've seen, I've known long enough that like I've got it memorized, but it always takes me it takes me a while to remember these things, right? Yeah, Matthew's a New Yorker. Yeah, GW White is not the best. Took so many hours to figure out what to eat that day. Understandable. very understandable. And of course, as I got older, I just made lunch, right? I did box lunch because saves money. I am a extreme cheapskate. But yeah, I am a little out of it, and I think that's fine. I think that's fine. That's part of why I wanted to do. That's a lot of why I wanted to do this as a model painting day, because I don't know, the model painting always feels like it kind of uses up a lot of my. It feels like it's at like a good level of mental engagement for me on these things. Feels like it asks that I excuse me. It feels like it asks me to concentrate in a particular way, but not in a way that's like that I can make like horrible mistakes intellectually. Which is a good midpoint, right? Hello, Bug. Hello, Bug. Welcome in. Yes, you're right. It's very zen. Very zen. Shared a room with my immediate boss, so ended up becoming good friends. Oh my goodness, that actually sounds very difficult, Blue. But yeah, I am just there we go. That's much more even looking. Yes, sir. That's much nicer. Okay. It happened every single day. It was kind of, oh, I mean, that's one of those things, right? Like sometimes the bit gets funnier with repetition. Not every bit does. Not every bit gets funnier the more you use it, but some bits do. Sometimes it does get funnier the more you use it. Not every time. But there are definitely some. We'd always say we'd go early and it never happened. Ridiculous at that point. Ridiculous. Yeah, I never took lunch with my coworkers. To be honest, I never did that because a lot of the virtue of going out to lunch was that I wasn't around them. It was a nice time to just be by myself and think my own thoughts, read a little book. Yeah, getting food 3 times a week is really going to add up. Getting food out, that is to say. They're charging you an arm and a leg for that stuff, right? They are making you pay quite a bit. for that. How's the focal length looking to people? I have to do it manually every time, so I'm never quite sure. Credit card debt, brutal. Try not to carry credit card debt, folks. Credit card debt has very high interest rates. You want as little of that stuff as possible. And then let's get here. All right, and let's get a little bit more on there. Because the spear I want to not do a white layer on. That's the only thing I have as like an actual thought. Spear, I don't want to do a white layer on. Just trying to not hit it while I get in here. That snuck on me a couple years after I had back surgery. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. See. Get to get these boots. Gotta keep them clean. Gotta keep them clean. Yeah. All right. This is a little bit hard to get in here. This is a little bit tricky to get in here. And get this layer in. That's so far so good. So far so good. I saw there's some chat activity, but I didn't get to read it. I hope so too, yes. That's a good call there, Blue, yes. I hope you are feeling better, Mr. Matthew. Surgeries can have a very long recovery time. Okay. Uh, 2 years since I got metal reinforcing your spine. Oof. Hectic. Brutal, even. And let's see, I think most of what I want. Okay. Get this pretty bad white out of my brush. Plenty in there. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. Skedaddle, skedoodle. That's true, that's true. There's many things separating most of us from being Wolverine. It is not usually just one thing. It is not usually just one thing separating us out from being Canada's greatest man. From being the great export from the north. And honestly, just using this thing makes me feel nervous. I think I need some black. Because there's some, my brush control did not prevent me 100%. I'm getting some white on this. I gotta come through here, get a little. Cover it up a couple times with some black. I'll probably have to come back to it, wait for it to dry. No short monics here. And let's... How do I even want to handle this? How do I even want to handle it? This guy's got too many accessories, is the problem. There's too many frigging accessories up front. Makes this let's start with getting a layer of the other white, of my preferred white, up here. And then, frankly, this is probably a mistake. Frankly, I'm probably just flat out making a mistake right here. Nope. Nope. And let's get in here. And couple more system layers there. Hello, Spirit Shackle. I apologize, Spirit X Shackle. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? I am just having a quiet, calm afternoon, painting a model. Getting in here and seeing what I can get done. And around here, and nice. This white is way more well-behaved. Jeez, what a gap. What a gap between these two whites and their performance and how they feel to actually paint with. What a gap. Get that off. That off. Ooh, excellent, excellent, excellent. I hope that therapy made things a little bit more tolerable. I hope that it was a successful session where you are feeling a little bit more in control. Right, because at least from my perspective, therapy isn't really about necessarily fixing things. Right, it's kind of a more abstract, right? Or maybe I'm just doing therapy wrong. Maybe I'm just doing therapy wrong. Maybe I've been fooling myself. There we go. And let's get we go. Okay, excellent, 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 excellent. That is good. That is good. Get the earth shade in here. Quick little and I think I need to fill in up here to make it look nice and dark. I'm washing in here, and then do another layer of white over that. I think what I need to do. I don't think I've really got an alternative at the moment. Let's just plenty of ink in there. Plenty of ink in there. And actually, let's do that over here as well. Get plenty of ink in there. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Alright, and some up over here. Alright. Alright. That's a one layer of undershading. Ah, yes, yes. Good luck, Matthew. Good luck, Matthew. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. Alright. Time to get started on the big main coat. That's very thin. That's very thin. I need a little bit more. Need a little bit more. Okay. Let's shake you up a little bit, and here, and it's probably too much. Probably too much. That's probably too much, but that section was bad at all. Bad at all. That's about the color I was hoping for. About the color I was hoping. And here. Oh, okay. And let's have a little stretch. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, shouldn't be all that surprising that folks are having a lot of conversation with their therapists about this. Because I knew some From what I heard, just going into the election was a lot of therapists were getting a lot of work out of that. Ooh, wee. Let's get it in here. Yes. All right. Hey. There we go. All right, let's go here. Get in here. All right. Hi, Emperor's Armpits. Hi, Emperor's Armpits. I kind of feel like what I'm getting out of today's painting lesson is that I like the Guardian model more than I like the Farseer model. I think they look better. I don't know what else to say about them. That's what I'm getting out of today's work. Which is why I'm glad that I didn't save this one for last. I have one more Guardian left after this one. Uno mas. Get in there. I don't know, the pose on this one I don't really like. I think it's kind of like busy in a way that's just kind of cluttered rather than interesting. Like it isn't so much visually interesting, it's just kind of messy. The pose isn't actually all that interesting. Yeah, I think that about covers it. Yeah, I've come to really like the Guardian model. And honestly, I've always had a great deal of affection for Guardians as a unit. You know, there's these cheap little weenies who absolutely shred Space Marines. Right, like if you if you do clever deployments with them, they can punch really above their weight. It's a matter of like, did you get them into like the right position at the right time? And that's a gameplay feature that I like. You know, units that require a little bit of cheap weenie units that if you finesse them well are highly dangerous. I like that. Yeah, they're the notionally everyday Joes of the Eldar, and I think they're very easily underestimated because they're like 10 points, right? It's like 10 points a dude, but you know, got a lot, you know, high volume armor piercing attacks, which I know doesn't get you super far against bigger targets, but against even like some pretty tough targets, they'll get some work done. They'll get some work done against even fairly strong other infantries. Get in here and I'm also not sure that I chose the right colors. Like I've been liking doing the brown like it's my jacket. But this one's just so much brown. So much of it. So much of it. And afraid that's not going to get anything else done in here. I have to keep on going though. Just gonna have to keep on going. Get in here a little bit. And up here, there we go. There we go. And a little bit more on here, another layer or two, because it's looking a little bit uneven. Particularly near the seams. I just not have glued it very well. I just not have glued it super well. It's starting to come together. It's starting to look a little bit more even. I suppose I shouldn't be holding up as like the standard I should be using, right? I should be willing to accept a certain amount of unevenness because I'm making it kind of look like like a buff coat. Well, not a buff coat at all. This is not what buff looks like, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I know what I mean. Like it's made of cloth, right? Made of cloth that's gotten some wear on it. Alright. And entirely unsure what to do about the various belts and bags. Try this, I guess? No, that doesn't work at all. That does not work at all. That's terrible. That's the worst. That is extremely counterproductive to my needs. Try black. Need more black on the palettes. Lob there. And I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to black it, and then I'm going to go over it again in brown a few times. And I'm just going to see what that looks like. See what that looks like. And then now, while I wait for that one to dry, let's get some of the blue. Get a little bit of blue. Need more blue. Alright, cool. We've got the little eyes on. Going very close. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. Get in here. Alright. Cool. Get in here a little. I mean, the question is not, is it a good color of blue? It's a question of, am I being clean? Are my lines clean? And the answer here is not as much as I'd like. Yeah, let's go. Let's get in here. Yeah, let's get over here. And get in here. This is looking good. Alrighty, alrighty. I mean, I suppose it depends on what you consider easy versus hard. The fact of the matter is that I'm not very skilled, right? I don't know if it's super obvious to you, Blue, but I think it's pretty obvious to like Emperor's Armpits and Matthew that I'm still pretty novice. I'm still pretty novice at this, and other than having fairly steady hands, I think it would be fair to say I'm pretty weak at this. But I think I'm still getting decent results. So I feel like that is an argument that this isn't that insane of a skill. But also, like, you can definitely find people who are really, really good. There's some people who paint models and it's like magic, right? It's like magic looking at what their results are. It's, you know, shocking and impressive sometimes. Get over in here. Missed a little bit in there. I missed a little bit in there. Some of the people on Insta are mind-boggling. Yeah, the Ching flags are crazy. Those banners are absolutely crazy that you linked. That's an example of a person who is too freaking good. Who is too freaking good. And of course, like, one of those things that I pretty much never do in my painting is I pretty much never do freehanding. Right, I pretty much never try to draw anything, because like I am trying to take advantage of as much as possible. I'm trying to take as much advantage as possible of the model. You know, the model kind of putting restrictions on me and guiding me. It's really what I'm trying to rely on as much as possible, and you know, that produces a different sort of result, right? This didn't turn out like anything. It didn't turn out like anything. I need to think about this. I need to go back to the drawing board on how I'm going to indicate these belts. How I'm going to indicate these belts and bags. How am I going to do this? Sorry. And hello, Nando. don't want them. I don't want it to be black. I don't want it to be black. What are my options? What are my options here? Could give this pink a bit of a twist, a bit of a turn out in the sun, a day in the sun, so to speak. Color that I have I don't think I've never ever used, but function never used, right? Like it's Nando, I'm having a good afternoon, I'd say. I'd say I'm having a pretty good afternoon. I am currently in the midst of some vaccine reaction. I got vaccinated yesterday. I got my flu and COVID vaccines. And I am a little bit recovering from that. Let's see what this looks like. See what this looks like. Doesn't look like anything. Doesn't look like anything. Doesn't look like anything to me. Yeah. I'm a little under the weather, so I am glad I'm streaming right now, but I also think this might be a shorter stream. Might also be on the shorter end, just because... No, that doesn't work at all. That doesn't get me anywhere. That did not get me anywhere. No, you were no help at all. You were no help at all. What do I do? What do I do? Try this a little bit again. Some of the stuff I've been using for the base, where it's half and half. Oh no! Now that the colors have settled, that looks better. Now the colors have settled, I think I'm actually into that. Let's do that for the belt as well. For the back of the belt, that is to say. Go over here and. Let's go over here, get in here, and that's a little black layer. Hold on, let's get in here. Okay, and yes. In here as well, a little bit in here, and excellent. Oh, no, we need a little bit more. There. And okay, get rid of the black, and take a look. What do I need right now? Actually, you know what? I should black the boots up a little bit. I could have saved myself some trouble by not bothering with making them white in the first place. That would have been much wiser of me. But... No, this is a brush. This is a number 4 synthetic brush. Boo. Review. This is a brush. Yeah. It's probably just lighting, or I mean, the fact that it's got this red-brown body might make it a little bit more unclear. Yeah. Yes, excellent. Excellent. Yes. And let's get in here. Yes, excellent. Getting some spots that I missed. All right. And get this belt, get these shoes. Yeah. All right, let's see. I think I'm getting the spear done. Just E. It's here. And there we go. There we go. I think if I recall correctly, it's supposed to be like a magic spear of some sort. So do some Wraithbone here. All right, let's get in here. Every spirit can be magic. I mean, the real magic was, I genuinely don't know. Really don't know. I mean, it's 40K. You know, he's a Farseer. He's doing some bullshit, right? He's doing some bullshit. I don't know why it didn't occur to me when it was said the last time I was streaming. Somebody pointed out, right, that if you've got your fantasy elves, right, like Eldar. Eldar they're fantasy elves that just happen to be in space. If you got people like this, how would they fight war? Right, you got people with these very low reproduction rates and low population growth. Yeah, the real magic is the spears we made along the way. That's where I was going. Thank you for helping me get there, Blue. That if you did have this population that has a lot of population growth problems and very long lives, you'd probably try to fight in a way that minimizes direct exposure. Which it's probably, those of you who know the 40K rules know that that is not how the Eldar fight at all. With the exception of Craft World Eondon. There is one sub-faction of Eldar who do fight in a way that is primarily concerned with, trying to use like remote assets over the use of direct contact with the enemy. And that's Eondon, who I don't know if they're my least favorite, but in terms of playstyle, because I like the Eldar because they're fast. Because they're fast and they're fragile. And that's a combination that I think is really fun to play at the table. Despite the fact that it might not make a lot of lore sense. Yeah, Wraithguard. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, it's actually kind of funny. Like, the tower, the people who are behaving in a way that's really consonant with having like a very low population. But I'm not actually familiar with there being any particular. Is there any particular claim in the fluff that the Tau have like a really small population, or like problems with like reproduction or anything like that? Like I don't think I ever remember hearing anything like that. Uh, but also, I don't really pay that much attention to the lore. In a galactic sense, they are very small. Yes, yes, yes. Um, yes. Although I thought that was largely because am I misremembering that the Tau don't use FTL? Get a little bit more in here. Yeah, so they don't use I mean, the way I think the Tower are actually like the most coherent faction, like by a lot. I think that the Tower are like the least stupid 40k faction. Um, I don't even think it's particularly close. I think every other faction, I'm like, you guys are morons. The Tau like acts like an army that tries to win wars. Is not something that I think is okay, okay. Sure. I guess I'm not speaking about it because I don't even know what you're talking about. No idea what you are talking about, my dude. I think the Tau. I think me and Emperor's Armpits. I think it was me and Emperor's Armpits had this conversation a while back. That like, from a gameplay perspective, I definitely like the Eldar the most. But from a like visual perspective, um, like a visual design perspective, I really like the Tau the most. By far, I think the Tau the coolest overall aesthetic. Um, I think they're the coolest overall aesthetic, and I think that they're like the one faction that I don't just think that they're morons. Uh, um, which is yeah, they've got the one military doctrine that I actually respect out of all 40k. I mean, I guess Nids and Orcs are not like stupid because it's like almost like orthogonal to what their deal is. But the Imperium is stupid as hell. I don't respect the Imperials. Uh, uh, yeah, yeah. Well, sorry, I have to stretch my back, but doing so involves flexing my bicep, and it is really painful. I need to do it. Oh, yay, pain. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's actually pretty fair to say. I think that's pretty fair to say. Again, one of those things that I always stick to, right, when discussing 40k. Like, there's a specific sentence that is very common in various 40k books which I think might not be as common now, but it was very common when I was paying attention, which was like 20 years ago. Which is that the Imperium of Man is the worst government, right? It is the worst government in human history. No exceptions, right? Like, it is the worst human government that we've ever had. And it took me a while to hit on this, but I actually think part of what is so bad about it is I think they are also bad at winning wars. I think that they are also worse than a replacement human government would be at winning wars. Just very internally stable. It's a very internally stable, extremely low, like, local minima, right? Like, you know, in chemistry terms, it is very hard to get out of the rut that is the Imperium of Man, but almost anything that actually succeeded at being anything other than the Imperium of Man would be an improvement. And again, to reiterate, I do think that this probably does include their warfighting capabilities. Which is fully coherent with me, with I think, their stances, right? The stances of Games Workshop, that the guys who did the underlying games were not stupid, and I think it would be hard not to be aware. It's one of those things, like, you have to, like, really, really work hard to not notice this. Like, it's a default thing to notice, and then you have to put in labor into not noticing this. That fascist governments are really bad at winning wars. Fascism has, of all of the government types on the planet, fascism has, like, the worst military record of them all. Just absolute loser ideology. And yeah, I do think that's probably just generally true of 40k militaries. Like, I don't think the Eldar are really trying to win. I don't think they're being very rational. I have a lot of affection for the Eldar. That doesn't mean I think that they're smart. But you know, it's fair. A lot of us aren't very smart, right? And let's get in there. What I like to do. And then a bit more brown. Well, I mean, that's like the thing, right? About doing hold on a second. Hold on a second. Yeah, well, it's I think it's more complicated than that, right? Because, like, we can also point to stuff like, there's utopian science fiction, right? There's utopian science fiction, and I think that in a whenever you make a science fiction that has both humans and aliens, the choices you make about how you characterize the humans in it are mostly the choices that you're making about what you personally think are really striking and outstanding features of being human. What do you think is outstanding about being human? What's your hypothesis about this? And so Mass Effect, right? Mass Effect has a very American viewpoint, right? As a very American viewpoint about humanity. Humans are agile and creative, and they're the up and comers. They're the new kid on the block. That's kind of how they are portrayed, right, in Mass Effect, which is very much in line with how Americans tend to see themselves, right? That's how us over here on this side of the pond tend to view, like, why is America what it is? It's because Americans are brash and bold and creative and blah 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 blah, and then Mass Effect scales that up to humanity, which is another common Americanism, right? That everybody is actually an American at some level. Ronald Reagan's thing, right? One of Ronald Reagan's more famous quotes. And yeah, you see, like, evolution and progress. I think that has a lot to do with the fact that sci-fi as a genre is generally made by people who are from kind of the winners of Whig history, right? That it's generally written by people who are pretty technophilic, who are used to progressive narratives, and are used to seeing themselves as being a part of those progressive narratives. And then 40K is obviously like a bit of an attempt to invert that. 40K is doing a little bit of pushback on that. 40K looks at that and goes like, what if not? What if Star Trek is exactly backwards? What if Star Trek gets it exactly wrong? Is kind of how I tend to view 40K. Is because 40K Star Trek is kind of the most like canonical on this front of like, humans are the progressive, adventurous, bold species. I need to get a knife in here. This thing needs an X-Acto knife. I need to dig out some of this stuff. It's interfering with the ability of it to function as a paint pot. And let's get in here and hope that this doesn't break, that the seal isn't busted. Oh yeah, that's a goopy white right there. That's a goopy white. That's a goopy white. And that's getting all over my hands. Nice. And try to be nice and clean here. And obviously that's not universal. Not everybody does that. Like 4Xs, I think, actually provide kind of the best place to look at this because people put numbers to it, right? People put it as like a mechanic. And so in Master of Orion, the human feature is diplomacy. That's what makes the humans, is that they're the most diplomatic. Which is an interesting one to view, right? It's an interesting one to make your center point of, like, what do you think makes you you? What do you think makes you distinctive from dogs and cats and other such creatures? And to be like, oh yeah, we're the most diplomatic. That's an interesting choice. And then, of course, my favorite Space 4X is endless space. And they have more than one human faction in that one. That does make it a little bit more complicated. But, you know, one of the features, one vision of humanity they have is very scientific. Is both scientific and isolationist, which is an interesting combination. And another vision they have of humanity is very much grounded in humanity as flexible. And yeah, endless space is incredible. I really like the Endless series. Personally, I think the Cravers in Endless Space 1 in particular are like the best designed faction in a 4X. Just in any 4X, I think it's the Endless Space 1 Cravers. I am so endlessly, incredibly impressed with the Endless Space Cravers. I think they're such a cool faction. And though I do consider 2 to be the better game in like almost every way, I do think the fact that you can mitigate the main downside of playing Cravers by just doing enough micromanagement, I feel like that's a flaw. I feel like that's not a good choice that they made there. I'm not into that choice. Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something weird. I'm gonna do something weird here. Let's get a little bit more white on here. And get it in there. Same thing over here. Yeah, Endless Space is beautiful. The music is a lot of it, I'm not gonna lie. A really good video game soundtrack can make up for a lot. And Endless Space has one of the few soundtracks where it's like, buying the soundtrack by itself is worthwhile. I will say that is something that like a lot of American sci-fi really pushes against, because a lot of American sci-fi is like the technology is the creation of a sole genius. Like, for example, Iron Man, right? You know, Iron Man's suit is just him. It's just him. And actually, an interesting. This is not really like so much a counter. This is just kind of like an interesting little wrinkle in that framework. Is the Wizard of Earthseas. The Wizard of Earthsea. In the Wizard of Earthsea, the magic system that they use in that book series is very much social. Is very, very social. You know, you learn magic works by knowing people and objects' true names. That knowing the names of things, how you communicate with them, that's where the magic is stored. Magic is stored in the communications. And that's a really interesting way of doing magic, and this is probably part of why Wizard of Earthsea is like the best fantasy series. And not just the fact that Le Guin built different. Also, Le Guin is built different, so that does matter. Quite possibly. I haven't read Aragon. I know very little about Aragon. Aragon came out, like, from my perspective, Aragon came out, like, way past. And nobody I knew liked it, to be honest. So, everybody I know was like, everybody I know who read it, like, had a pretty negative opinion of Aragon. So, I genuinely don't know. Oh yeah, no, that's exactly how it works in Earthsea, which I could believe that it's actually older than that. That's a that's not a Le Guin original. I could absolutely believe that is a like a feature of like a real life, uh, a real life system of because that's like how Fae work, right? That if is it the Fae can control you by knowing your name? Oh, that's how Celtic Fae work. I believe you would not. Okay, fair enough. You don't think you would enjoy it now? Fair enough. Fair enough. And let's see. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like my decision to try to make my Eldar use a color scheme based on me, based on my model, it's kind of a mistake. Mostly that means I'm using a lot of these GW whites that aren't very good. Hello, Humter. Hello, Humter. Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see you. How are things over there in sunny Poland? See, can I... And... I really don't like how flimsy this spear feels. I'm, like, really worried about it. That's fair, that's fair. I do think Earthsea is incredible. Okay. Alright, that's pretty good. Oh, okay, let's get in here. Okay, let's get... Alright. Living in that Tintin meme. Yeah. Yeah. All right, excellent. All right, excellent. All right. Still not enjoying this model. I think. I gotta take a look. I gotta figure out where I'm putting the what I'm doing with this helmet. I always forget which order I do things. All right. All right. All right. Let's give this gold a shot. Let's give this gold a shot. Because I haven't used this gold, like, at all. There we go. It says it's gold. It does appear to be metallic. Hold on, I need to get more of this blue out here so I don't pollute. The paint pots. The color that has been the I mean, I'm obviously using a lot of this Mornfang brown. I'm still kind of contemplating like what I'm going to do. about other colors. I have enjoyed the fact that I can get these significantly different browns just by using an underlayer versus an overlayer. I should say, by just using like different layers of using a different undercoat. I do think that's quite neat. I'm going to give this a shot. We'll come back to it in a few minutes, and we'll see if I like how it looks when it dries. Actually, you know what? Before let's just see if I like the way it looks before I get too committed to it. Let's try to figure out what I'm doing up here. Up here. I take a look at. I need to go grab one of my previous models. A second. Okay. That answered that question pretty readily. So I do the faceplate in brown. I do the faceplate in brown. Let's get in here. Let's close the gold for a second here, so I don't spend. I'm less likely to spill it. All right, let's go. All right, and all right, excellent. All right. All right, and yes, here we go. Excellent. All right, Nando, have a good night. Have a good night. It was very nice having you here. Ooh, that went pretty well. I am actually digging this gold. It doesn't look like gold to me at all. It looks much more like copper, which is frankly better as far as I'm concerned. Frankly, I am more into that. Okay, excellent. And now, gotta clean up some of the lines here. The faceplate lines are always kind of one of the trickier parts to me. All right. All right, excellent. More blue. Yes, Eldar definitely are hooked here. Eldar definitely are, from a gameplay perspective. from a gameplay perspective, they're definitely my favorite. From a lore and models perspective, it's Tau. It's definitely Tau in terms of like look, but in terms of how they feel to play, I'm Eldar all the way. I am Eldar all the way. I like Eldar. I like playing, particularly in turn-based games. Much less so in real-time games, but in turn-based games, I have a lot of affection for high mobility, high fragility, high firepower. I want units that I want to have an army that moves fast and explodes if you fuck up. I also kind of like that they have less randomness to their mechanics than other factions. I like that Star Cannon are much more reliable than most people's plasma. That makes me happy. Yeah, I like him. I like the Eldar. And unlike, and I know I'm somewhat atypical on this one, but I particularly like their non-aspect warrior elements. I kind of find the aspect warriors to be kind of whatever. I'm less enthusiastic about them. Let's see here. But yeah, if I ever get around to doing 40K on the server, it'll be I'd be playing Eldar. Should have been using this gold before. In terms of vibes, you like the orcs? Fair enough, fair enough. People do like the orcs. They are popular. They are popular, those orcs. And my favorite 40K video game is an orc one. Is one you play as an orc. Blood, Teeth, and Chudos, I think, is actually a good game. Just flat out. There we go. I definitely did a better job on this side than I did on the other side. Get a little bit more paint on there. Little load up. A little load up. The boys just seem to have fun. I mean, it's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. Alright, hold on. Failing here, failing here. At least I'm thinning it out. At least I'm thinning it out over here. back on my nonsense here. Let's get back on my nonsense here. Yeah. And in here a little bit. And okay. Okay. Yep. All right. All right. All right. Alrighty. Necron's also kind of interesting because you're an Egyptian. I mostly just wish that fantasy games, tabletop games in general, treated Egypt better. I'm always very sad because I think Egypt is super cool. I think it's super interesting as a society to study, and then it's always just skeletons, right? It's just skeletons and mummies, and this has meant that goofily enough, probably the best fantasy Egypt I've ever seen is Age of Mythology. Just because, like, there are living people, right? Like that by itself kind of catapults it into being the best one. Because like those pyramids weren't built by skeletons, right? The mummies didn't build the pyramids. People built those pyramids. And it's really cool, right? It's really, really cool. It's a very, very cool culture and civilization with, you know, an incredibly long history that, you know, once you start getting into, like, the deep BCs, but people still, like, archaeologists who are, like, older than iron. Like, that's super cool to me. We have ancient Egyptian ministers who were very clearly working as archaeologists, right? As court archaeologists, because various pharaohs were concerned with shoring up their legitimacy by invoking increasingly old, by invoking claims to great antiquity and to continuity of their reign with far older people. And so part of how you do that is that you have an archaeologist go out and, you know, look at old buildings and do surveys and stuff and report back to you on what they found. And I think it's super duper cool that in the case of ancient Egypt, like there's just kind of like no bottom to it, right? There's never a point where it just is like, oh, this is so old that nobody cared about the past. People cared about the past before we had writing. You know, people cared about the past before we even developed writing, and so it would be surreal, right? Oh, I should. Thank you. This should be in models and miniatures. Thank you. I forgot all about that. Thank you. Hold on. That's a good opportunity for me to get a little stretch on. Trying to get a little bit of stretch in. Fifth. I mostly just want to make sure that I don't. I am kind of wary about using the Warhammer specific category. Alrighty. I've had it's not even like they're crazy or mean or anything. It's like I've just had people come by here when I've done Warhammer, when I've used the Warhammer category, and they were very disappointed with my ignorance of the Warhammer lore, and it made me feel bad. I felt bad. That's what the issue is. Is like I don't want to feel like I'm just this like rube who's like getting in the way of people who want to like talk about Warhammer lore and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. It feels bad. Yeah. I just, I mean, they're looking for something, and I'm not able to provide it, right? You know, if you want to talk about political or economic issues or history or something like that, I'm very happy to talk about those things. But I just don't really know a lot about Warhammer, and the truth of the matter is that I don't actually feel like I've really been rewarded for my forays into learning more about Warhammer. I don't feel like I've really gotten a ton out of it, so I don't really miss it. And I mean, you choose the categories, right? Palace found the minis and models category, Marshall. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I think it's actually like this is kind of like a broader thing, right? Is like I almost always put myself in just chatting, right? Like 90% of the time I'm in just chatting, and it's because what you choose to use as your category kind of communicates to people what's going to be going on, right? It kind of communicates to the viewers what to expect. And there's a similar thing about tags, right? Like you choose tags based on telling people kind of what they can expect. And the that's kind of what you're doing, right? You're kind of telling people what they can expect. You know what? I'm doing something wrong here. This is wrong. I'm doing this wrong. You're giving people a preview of what's going to be happening there, and I am mostly just yapping, right? I am mostly just yapping. I am not really. Well, and I guess I should probably be more. Another way of putting this, I guess, actually, this is probably the more important element to this, is that some people are category viewers, right? Some people are category viewers. They show up. They are looking for a specific category. And in the case of and sometimes those category viewers I like more than others. Be a little bit they're looking for people who are doing a specific thing, and they're not really interested in your other content. I don't tend to care that much about attracting category viewers. Because I kind of just view them as unreliable. I guess kind of where I'm going with all that. But also, the Warhammer guys, they want to discuss Warhammer in a deep fashion, and that's fine. That's fine. And I just don't want to let them down. Nobody's been mean about it. No, nobody's actually been like mean about it. It's just like I can tell like somebody comes in here and they ask me a bunch of questions, and all I can really say is like I don't really know that much about that, and then I never hear from them again. Right? Like I've clearly like bored and disappointed them, and I don't like doing that. Oh, Dirty Dirk 69. Thank you for the follow. Think about this. I got plenty of work left to do on this one because I've not done like any highlighting on it. Not done like any highlighting on it, and the gems all need a little touch up. little tap of white on the gems makes them look a little bit more alive. Just a little bit more alive. Makes them shimmer a little bit better. And then let's think about this. So I'm going to be using some ink, a little bit of ink, and I'll probably want to water it down a little bit. Just thin out the ink a little bit, and we want it in here for sure. Sure, in there. Just a little bit darker, right? Just a little bit darker. And let's get you in here, right? You in here. Yeah, definitely want some in there. Definitely want it in here. Yeah, again, no disrespect to the folks who want to have those Warhammer discussions. I'm just, like, pretty unqualified. And, again, like, I am mostly just here to chat. I'm mostly just here to vibe with folks. You know, people have history questions for me and sociology questions, and those are really fun to answer. Really, really fun to talk about those, and really fun to talk about, like, weird TTRPGs and game design stuff. It's really fun. Really, really fun. And just, like, Warhammer specifically is, like, one where it's like, well, the people who are, like, really into this are, like, really into this, right? That said, there is Warhammer for Tabletop Sim, and I keep on talking about doing that as a community. And I could do some games on stream. That wouldn't be the worst thing on the planet. Let's clean you up a little bit. That's a little... I want to be getting into the crevices, right? I want to be getting into the crevices, not really as much on surfaces. Not as invested as it would be. Not that invested on this ink being in the surfaces. Really probably should have done a little bit like that. That. And a little bit more in there. Exactly right. Like this is what I want right up here. Okay, and now some of the stuff that's a little trickier. Got to get it inside these knuckles. Right, that's where I want that. I want that inside the knuckles. Because these like weird skeleton glove things. Okay, and now wash it off a little bit. Get off. That layer, and I'll have to go through and go over with another layer of white over those. That's to be expected, right? To be expected. And get a little bit in here. A bit in here. Get a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more three-dimensional. Catch some of those details, the lights. And then I think, well, I've obviously got touch-ups to do. I've obviously got a ton of touch-ups to do. Holy crap. Holy crap, do I have touch-ups to do on this, buddy. But let's start working on some of the edges. Start getting some edge. So getting a little bit of edge on here. And much there. All right. Looking into Trench Crusaders, I think they'll finally get me to bankrupt myself and painted models instead. Interesting, interesting. I know Matthew's a big fan of that one. All right. And of course, I haven't done the base at all because I just don't like doing the base. That 2D soul like blasphemous. Okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. You know, I don't really. It's kind of interesting, right? Because I grew up Catholic. I grew up Catholic, but I'm white. I'm a white American, and so the Catholicism that I grew up with was pretty different from the Catholicism that my Hispanic friends grew up with. Right, like we all kind of grew up with like these different valences of Catholicism, and I just like don't know enough about what it's like to be European and Catholic. Let's see. I've so far I've hated Armageddon Dust. So far it's been like my least favorite paint to work with, but let's see if I can get something done here. It's doing exactly the opposite of what I wanted to do. It is getting into the crevices and not depositing on the surfaces, which is the exact opposite of what I was hoping for it to do. Congratulations, Armageddon Dust, you have once again betrayed me. There we go. That's at least getting onto the surfaces. There we go. Let's get a little more on here. color of a concerning bowel movement. Pretty unpleasant to look at. That's more what I was hoping to accomplish with this one. That's much more what I was hoping for. Let's... Oh, jeez, so much. So clumpy, it's so nasty. A little bit more in here. Oop. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, Trench Crusade has 6 factions, and it's the rare wargame I've looked at where like it was very easy for me to decide what faction I like the most. Usually it takes me a lot of like, there's a lot of back and forth, and there's a lot of like, well, maybes, and like, I'm very indecisive as a rule. I am, as a rule, a very indecisive man. But in Trench Crusade, I just looked at it for like 5 minutes. I'm like, I'm going with the Sultanate. Absolute instantaneous into the Sultanate. I will think about. I mean, that's actually not a bad idea because I'm low on models. So actually, yeah. I need to figure out how we would do a handoff in a safe fashion. But actually, yeah. Okay. Let's think about this. What does this guy need? This guy needs something. Something is missing from this model. Obviously some touch-ups. Yeah, dead drop is the way to go. Dead drop is the way to go. I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the, I just haven't done a dead drop in a very long time. I mean, it is Spycraft. It is Spycraft. It's, depending on what you're doing, sometimes that's what you need to do. I think something on the helmet. Okay. That's not a bad call. Okay. Sorry, folks. Honestly, I kind of have just come to dislike this model in general, so I just kind of want it to be done. I kind of feel like the most interesting part is here, right? Is the chest, even much more so than the helmet. Is the chest. And actually, you painter folks, you folks who know painting, more. What do you use to edge highlight white areas? Like if I want to add an edge highlight, get that deloaded. Let's get all that off of there. If I want to add an edge highlight to this, what would I use? I've been using blue. I've been using very thin blue to catch the white edges, but should I use black? I feel like red's just totally wrong. Like red or orange is just completely wrong. Light gray? Do I even have a light gray? I do have a white. I do have a white that I haven't been using. It's more of like an orange. No, it's more like a yellow. More of a slightly more yellowed white. Yeah, this is more bone white here. Okay. Let's try this. Let's see if this even works, right? Let's see if this one even does anything first before I get too committed to it. So let's just get along here. I am now suspecting it's not going to do anything. But let's let that dry. Let's let that dry, and I'll get some touch-ups, because there's a couple places where I can see where the brown isn't clean. There's a couple places where my line work wasn't clean. So I could use some touch-ups in a couple spots, like right here. Right there. Down in here, this one's been bugging me a lot. And this guy's been bugging me a lot. Here. Up against the brush. Oh yeah, that made that much better very quickly. There. Okay. I don't think I have any actual like yellows. Okay, so no highlight on here. Did a slightly off-white highlight there. I don't think it works. I don't think it's doing anything. I don't think it's accomplishing anything. This is what I've done previously. Just a very, very thin edge of blue. It's meant to be an edge highlight. Give that a moment. Give that a moment. Alrighty. Fun. And let's do it here. Alright, that was good. I do like doing these little orange edges. Alright. Alrighty. That's better. Alrighty. I think the blue is good, actually. I think the blue is good. The screaming skull one wasn't very good. Okay. And I like getting the highlight, like in the interior edge on okay, I'll cover that up again. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Right. Gotta touch up some whites. And over here, yes. All right, excellent. Turnip rules. Turnip's very cool. Perfect. All right, let's get it. Alrighty, excellent. Heh. Azubs are wonderful. Azubs are lovely. Alright, and let's get down here and start doing a bunch of ink washes. Get down here and do a bunch of ink washes. Perfect. There we go. That looks much better. That looks much better, I think. Alrighty. Yep, screw it. Going over to the copper on this one. I like the copper. Excellent. Excellent. I should have been using this stuff before. It's Saf. It's Saf. Yes, we got a little guy. We got a little guy. The little guy is here. The little guy is here. I think I'm making pretty good progress on this one. If you had asked me like even half an hour ago, I'd have been like, "Oh, this looks like crap." I was feeling pretty negative about this until just a few moments ago. Now I'm feeling quite a bit more positive about it. But yes. What is AUG? What has you upset, Saf? What has you upset? Is that the wrong link? Is the link bad? Do I need to change the link? Yep. The bot is very vigilant. Somebody has to be around here, right? Let's get my brush dry so that I can actually use this. You are observed, you are seen, you are witnessed, and you deserve to be because you're wonderful. Because you are a person that I am a big fan of. Yeah, I for all of my self-deprecation, I kind of have a hard time denying that I've got pretty steady hands. If I wasn't so damn squeamish, I probably could have been a surgeon. But I am, so instead you get to see me painting miniatures. Instead of doing appendectomies. Wouldn't that be absolutely crazy? Wouldn't that just be absolutely freaking crazy in, to have somebody who Twitch streamed, like, doing medical procedures, like, from their hospital? Can you imagine going to the Yeah, can you imagine going to the hospital and like one of the consent forms is like I consent to be on Twitch.tv. I consent to having my internal organs on display on Twitch.tv. Yeah, I think it's awful. This is one of my worst ideas. This is I am hopeful. I'm grateful that as far as I can tell, I do not have access to the lathe of heaven. So far, I've never seen any evidence that I have any access to the lathe of heaven. Uh, I mean, we do have a couple of Twitch channels that are just like a wild. They're just like a duck camera and stuff like that. They're just like wild, like a camera set up in a wildlife blind. Uh, so like it's not unprecedented to just have like a Twitch stream that has like no real streamer. It's just kind of like uh, it's just kind of like something happening in the world. And it's like it would not be that weird, I think. I would hate it, personally speaking, but I don't think it's that insane. I don't know that one. I do know the duck one. I've seen a couple of cat ones here and there. Like I know there's at least like one Japanese cat cafe that has a. I think I may have done too much orange. I think I may have done too much orange. I'm gonna add a little bit more blue up here to the pauldrons. Okay, you know what? Actually, the edge highlighting I think is actually working really well on the pauldrons. Again. All right, Hoomter, have a good night. Have a good night. Saf, I assure you, I do not want to watch. I'm just imagining like I just love coming up with bad ideas, right? Like I just love coming up with really terrible ideas. And this is a high tier one. This is a really awful. This is a perfectly awful idea. This idea is terrible. It sucks. I genuinely do not know that I've had. I don't know how many worse ideas I've had than like surgery stream. I mean, so in the case of like YouTube videos and stuff, right? In the case of stuff on YouTube, I am pretty sure a lot of what happened. I've definitely seen medical procedures on YouTube videos. I've definitely seen YouTube videos that have actual like medical footage in them, and I am pretty sure that what is happening. I am pretty sure that they are taking already recorded video that's considered fine. Hello, YO Cryptid. Welcome and welcome in. Oh, jeez. I mean, yeah, I'm not even thinking about the grossness element of it, though there is definitely a grossness element to it. I am leaning more on the, like, seriousness and lack of privacy element to it. That's the part of it that's, like, possibly more interesting to me. Still horrifying. Still horrifying. But yes, I think you should be grateful that I am saying this. I am doing well, YO Cryptid. I'm currently working on coming up with like the worst stream idea possible, and my track record at being wrong at predicting the future means that we are probably protected from like Mount Sinai doing Twitch streams of like appendectomies. Oh, maybe. I don't know. I think some people are into the grossness, though. Uh, oh. Yeah, I think I went a little bit heavy on the orange here. I think I went a little bit heavy on it, so let's try to get some of it off of here. Try to remove some of it. That's better. That's better looking. That's better. Oh, and the edge, adding the orange to the blade is a huge improvement. That's a huge improvement. That's very nice. That's very nice. That's very nice. See, what else can I do with this guy? D&D themed song. Oh, jeezy Pete's. Whenever I think of D&D themed songs, I always think of best thing about Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee is who I think about for that. I think I might be due to replace this. We might be at the end of the lifespan on this one. That's way too much. That's way too much. That's way too much. That's way too much. Catchy. Okay, fair enough. And we got some. I forgot all about this up here that I need to do some more cleaning. Some more cleaning. That's too thin. That's too thin. It's not getting anywhere. Load it up a little bit more heavily. Okay, I'll let that dry. Let that dry a little bit. Alrighty, and then let's see here, over here, and a little bit over here. And I think the hand needs a little bit of work over here. Nice. I will say the people I've played in the TTRPGs I've played, we pretty much never used minis. We functionally never used minis. Not exclusively never used minis. I actually think we never actually used minis. The closest we got was when playing Lancer, which, like, Lancer's very movement based, right? Like, Lancer, it really matters where you are, because Lancer's frankly a little bit more of a war game than it is an RPG. And for that one, like, we needed to keep track of things, but I think we just used, like, chits. I don't think we used actual models. Even in, like we did on Tabletop Sim, and I'm pretty sure we just used, like, we used, like, icons. Use flat surfaces and icons and stuff. Alrighty. Excellent. And let's get... let's see. That was super wet last time. I need to be a little more careful with that one. Yeah, we did all Theater of the Mind. And I do remember I mostly have not played D&D. I'm going to be like I've played a lot of D&D in absolute terms, but in terms of like relative to other RPGs, D&D I put relatively low on my list. I think it's been years. I think we stopped playing D&D before 5th edition even came out. I think we completely had given up by that point, and a lot more World of Darkness. A lot more World of Darkness, a lot of Apocalypse World, and Blades in the Dark. Okay, let's take a look at this, buddy. Those are not ones that I'm super familiar with. Let me think. My most played one is probably World of Darkness, which I actually don't think is very good. Hot take. I think World of Darkness is kind of bad. And Apocalypse World and Blades in the Dark are probably like the next two. My favorites have been Firebrands, and I think maybe Polaris. I've played very little Polaris in my life, but every single time it's been like a top 10 session of my life experience, so I've got a huge affection for that game. Incredible hit rate coming out of Polaris. And let's get in here a little bit. Brush control failed me there. It's a little bit more of this. A little bit more of this. And I think what I should do here is... if I'm reading this right. Honestly, this is like hard to read. This looks like a coin and an ankh coming off of this dude's bracelets. Coming off of homie's bracelets. So let's make those gold, right? Let's make those gold. The back of it. And a little messy right there, that's fine. A little bit messy right there, but now we start doing some blue again. TTRPG built off Firefly. Okay. I do know, I think I've heard of that one. God, because I was big into Firefly a million years ago, a lifetime ago. I did really like Firefly. I haven't revisited it in a long time, so I don't know if it still holds up. Kind of turned the U.S. into a nightmare hellscape. All right, kick ass. Kick ass. Okay, that turned out well right there. That turned out well. That was the right choice. It was the right choice to go in there and spend some extra time. And I'm gonna go back and redo the parallel one on the other wrist because I am so happy with how that turned out. I'm so happy with how that turned out. I just because I find it funny because you pointed this out and we're talking TTRPGs. I always really liked that the classes in Apocalypse World are just Firefly. Like, Apocalypse World is very much based off of Mad Max, but it's also kind of based off of Firefly, which I think is a good. I think it's in general a pretty good idea, right? To kind of like do a little bit of mix and match between two different media. I didn't think about that. Serenity and Firefly is part of the Alien universe. I did not think about that. Oh yeah, because Weyland-Yutani's in it. Yeah, because Weyland's in it. Yeah. It took me a second there. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh yeah, Weyland-Yutani's in it. But yeah, so like, one of my favorites is Blades in the Dark, right? Everybody loves Blades in the Dark. Who doesn't love Blades in the Dark? And Blades in the Dark is basically like, it's set in Dishonored. The setting is just Dishonored. But the setting is fundamentally Dishonored, and then but the character classes you play are from Leverage, which is a fun show. Leverage is a fun show. And I think Leverage is, as the basis for for a TTRPG, I think Leverage is an incredible place to go through. I think Leverage is a really strong choice. Like, that's a top tier one by my considerations. I think in general, a show that has like a strong ensemble cast is pretty much always a good base for starting your game classes. I think that's a strong, like, inspirational base. Very, very obviously. Hello, Mara. Hello, Mara. Like, a big one would obviously be Monster of the Week is based off of Buffy. Admittedly, it is just based off of Buffy. Like, it's all Buffy. All Buffy all the way. Pure strain Buffy on that one. But it's a strong choice. It's a strong choice. And people had to have pretty fond memories of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think that's generally seen as Whedon's best work. That's kind of my memory of it, and I don't want to like corrupt my own memory of that too much. Or Whedon's I mean, yeah, the last two seasons of Buffy are not good. If people don't know this, the last two seasons of that show are not good. Very, very much a drop in quality there. I don't know if I'd want to say it's like worse. I don't think it's worse than Game of Thrones on that front, but it is definitely an obvious and heavy drop in quality. And I don't even hate Dawn. To be honest, I don't even hate Dawn, but they did definitely. I know a lot of people who did, but I thought she was fine as a character. Um, I thought she was generally a pretty fine character. I think Michelle Trachtenberg's a pretty good actress. Yeah, but Whedon has done a lot of horrible stuff, so... and also made a bunch of bad movies at the same time. Don't always get that. Don't always get a fall from grace that's as easy and simple as, like, person is bad and also fell off as an artist. That does kind of make it a little bit less conflicted for people. They kick you to the curb. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mind Dawn, to be honest, but like Dawn getting added did kind of correspond with the series getting worse. I don't think it's actually causal. I just think it's like when they changed networks was kind of the big thing. They changed networks, they added Dawn, they got worse at writing. Actually, no, not quite. No, they changed. They Dawn was season 5, and they changed networks in season 6. And who boy did they change networks? Oh boy, is that a was that a change? The last season's the one that I always think is like the really bad one. Well, I remember like me and a friend in college just being like, we're gonna power through this. Like no matter what happens. No matter what, we are finishing this stupid TV show. And we couldn't get through season 7. Alright, WyoCryptid. Okay, you're a psychology student. You're a psychology student. Well, polemical essay writing is an important skill set that my experience has been that of all of the skills I learned in school, polemical essay writing is like the only one that actually turned out to be useful. Pretty much everything else was less useful than if I just goofed off more. Honestly, though, maybe the math I've actually gotten some use out of. I think I've gotten some use out of the math classes, but In general, though, I recommend paying attention to math, just because if you don't, then you can easily be led astray by those who do. Wildlife and fishery. Okay. You just happen to be taking some psychology courses. Gotcha. I mean, that's very cool. Wildlife management was never on the table for me. It was something like... It looked like it was on the table when I was in high school, and then like I just didn't end up going to a school that had any programs that would have been at all helpful for that. I guess there was the biology program, but literally nobody I know who got a biology degree at my school went on to do that. Most people I know went on to do lots of what's the word I'm looking for here? Research. A lot of researchers. A lot of researchers. Okay. Yes, okay. Hmm. All right, all right. Um, I'm trying to figure out what this needs. This is looking a lot better than I thought it was ever going to look. If you had asked like earlier in the stream, I was like really dubious about this guy. I was feeling really dubious about him. Let's get in here, configure video, and change the focal length. Let's put it on auto. Trust the process. Do we trust the process? Do we trust the process? That's a good question. Do we trust the process? So hold on. So, what do you think this needs? I am mostly asking because I am planning on ending stream as soon as I feel done with the model. And I think if it doesn't really need anything, I'll probably... Okay, it needs a little bit of highlighting on the inside. It needs some interior highlights, which are going to be really tricky to make. These are going to be really tricky. And let's get in here. Oh. And okay. A little bit more in there. Yeah. Where do you think it needs some more? Where do you think it needs some more is the question. Because I got highlights on the hems, which is like the most important one, right? The hems, the edges of the helmet components, anything else that really needs any highlighting? Maybe I can. This seems like it's gonna be a disaster. This seems what I'm thinking about. I think I'm not going to be able to pull off. I'm gonna take a stab at it, but I don't think I can actually execute on it. I don't think I'm actually steady enough for this one. Nope. Nope, there's not enough paint on there. It's too thin. You're locked up, because I do not want... You seem like a real pain to clean up. This seems like it would be a really awful one to clean up. Here's what I'm looking for. Praga. And let's see if I can get a little bit of undershadow, right? A little bit of implied shadow on these lower edges. Sorry. Okay. And so this will now force me to do another round of cleaning. Force me to do another round of cleaning, but I think that's fine. Hello, Karatsun. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? How are you doing? I'm assuming when you say Rise, you mean Monster Hunter Rise? That's what I'm assuming that means. I am very... I'm not like a committed Monster Hunter player, so I've only played some World, right? I've played like a couple of hours of Rise, but not very much. It didn't run very smoothly on my computer, so I didn't play very far with it. And then I know Wilds is coming out, but I'm not like... I don't know. I'm very hard to get. It's very hard to convince me to spend money on stuff, uh, especially new games. Um, very very easy for me to just like never ever get new games. Uh, and when I think about getting a new Monster Hunter, my main thing is just like, are the bowgun controls better? I like the bowgun. I like heavy bowgun. And I like the heavy bowgun, and the problem with it in World is that several of the control elements you can't segregate at all. Like they just have to be one thing, right? Like it's very frustrating. Very, very frustrating to try to like make a decent control scheme. Like, I'm not just talking about the default binds. I'm talking about the fact that like some of the binds are married. And that's dreadful. It's very dreadful. It's very, very dreadful. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at homie. Let's take a look at our homie. How are we feeling about home slice here? Do we think I have a suspicion that it's not appropriate to refer to a Farseer as home slice, but also also I don't have a better idea. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't have a better idea. I think it's funny. I think it's funny. Okay. Okay. I am going to be making this a relatively short stream because I am tired, I am hungry, and I am sick. So I will be... Oh, Magic School Bus Dropouts. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. I am... Let's put up the schedule. So this... No, not you. You. So this week's schedule. Today was the hand cam, right? Today was the hand cam. You saw the hand, you saw the cam. Tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern, I'll be doing golf with friends at Akosa Curiosities. I will not be here. Not here. Akosa Curiosities. And Thursday at 5 p.m., CerenaVT is coming over here to do Exit West. And then Friday I'll do something. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll figure it out. But I'll do something. Echoes of the Eye is my instinct, but I don't know if that's actually what I'm going to wind up doing. On that note, let's... What in the world did you just post there, Emperor's Armpits? Oh, okay, it just didn't load properly. I was like, what in the... It just posted a bunch of blank squares. Huh. There we go. Tonight we'll be doing a movie night. I haven't decided what. I do want to lay down before then, though. So it'll be something. What it will be, I don't know. We'll find out. If somebody's got a strong suggestion, I am all ears. But until then, let's find a raid target. Let's find a raid target. Let's take a look. Who should I raid? I think Schemy is. Should I do Schemy or Barry? Who should we go for? Clonk. Take a look. What is Kari doing? Let's go to Kari. Let's go to Kari. I haven't been able to go to Kari's for a while. I have not been able to go to Kari's for a while. So, everybody say hi to Kari. Kari is a good friend. She is the lovely shrimp lady. She's the lovely shrimp lady. But yes. So I will be online on my server later tonight. And we'll figure it out. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining me. And have a lovely, lovely night. And there we go.